I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on science for the middle school students. Well, that is a very vibrant group full of curiosity and enthusiasm. So, as soon as I uploaded this very first video on particle theory, there were lots of questions from the students. So, here is a question from Rohan. Rohan wants to know, are protons particles? So, when we said particles, I hesitantly included atoms, right? So, I said atoms are fundamental particles. Correct? You all agree with me, right? So we'll keep our discussion, which is good enough for middle school students, will not involve concepts or terms which are not understood by them. Okay, so let's be very specific, and I actually want your inputs as to how we can answer this question, right? So I'm going to make a serious attempt to answer this, but let's understand from where is this question coming. So we said atoms are fundamental particles, and based on that, we are actually explaining most of the things which are happening around us, right? Now, as far as Rohan is concerned, he says, well, there is a nucleus somewhere there, right? And in the nucleus, we find two things, and those two things are protons and neutrons, right? So let me make a nucleus here, a beautiful one, okay? So that is my nucleus, and to surround these protons, we'll have some neutrons, right? So let me add some neutrons to this. So I'll add 4 neutrons so that it matches with something called lithium, right? So that is, we are trying to make lithium, okay? Well, we're talking about lithium, so that is the nucleus part. So this blue line doesn't really exist, but these are orbits in which we have some electrons flowing. So 3 protons will mean 3 electrons, correct? So we can put 2 in one orbit, and then the next one has to go outside. So let's go outside, and then, well, let me just squeeze it in. Okay. The third one goes outside, let's say here. So there are 3 electrons. The number of electrons and protons are always same, so that we just match up the charge. And we have 4 neutrons. Now, we are saying atom of lithium, right? So we are saying lithium atom. And we are saying this atom is a fundamental particle, but not the protons which are existing there. They have their identity, right? They have their mass, they are occupying space. Well, yeah, that reminds me. So how did we define particles? Well, so we said, what are particles? Let me visit this definition, and I hope the answer lies right there. So particles have 2 things, basically, for us. And these 2 things are, 1, they have mass. And second, they occupy space. That's what a particle is. Now, Rohan, these atoms, they occupy space, they have mass. We need to answer this question. Right. Perfect. So I did some research, and what I found was very interesting. That earlier we thought they are particles, right? So when one atom was extracted from hydrogen, okay. But then what we really found is that the mass is not very clear about. So as far as atoms are concerned, the problem lies is for the mass of the atom, right? So there is a question mark that mass of atom is a question mark. Oh, mass of a mass of atom is a question mark. But just wait, just wait. What is atomic mass unit then? Well, we have a term which is atomic mass unit, which is the basic unit, right? So, which is the basic unit as far as mass is concerned. Okay, but the mass of proton is not sure. So basically, when we say mass of an atom, then we say, well, we have a unit which is based on mass of the atom, and it has a fixed mass, and that is fine with us. But let's get back to the atom itself. When we are talking about mass of an atom, we are also saying that most of it comes from two things. One is the protons, and the other one is the neutrons. That means protons and neutrons mass should be basic, right? Mass of the atom comes right from the center, and most of it is from these two. So that's the thing. Then again the question is, why protons and neutrons also not particles? Wow. So the only thing which comes now to help us around is a statement which says that proton mass is composed of two things. Is composed of two things. One we call rest mass, and the second one we call, because of motion, which I'll use the term kinetic motion, right? Energy mass. Now, kinetic energy, potential energy, and other forms of energy, they are well understood by most of my students, so I'm using these two terms. So the mass of a proton, right, so we're linking all this, proton mass is composed of rest mass and kinetic energy, they say. And they also say that the rest mass is just 10%. And 90% is because of that kinetic energy, right? So it is not well defined. Therefore, mass of proton is not well defined. So since mass of proton is not defined, it is not a fundamental particle. So we conclude from here we conclude, therefore, proton is not considered a fundamental particle. So for now, that is from my side, right? So it is not a fundamental particle. It is somewhere in between, right? So to give you an idea about that kinetic energy mass, that kinetic energy mass could be, example could be what? Oh, that we talked about in our video, right? So that was a photon. Okay. So the energy mass is an example, like example photons are not particles. We explained that in our video, right? Since it is energy, right? So that is why they are not particles. As far as the protons are concerned, they do have some rest mass. Most of it, though, is a kinetic energy mass, and therefore we are not considering them also to be a fundamental particle. So the fundamental particle for us remains is atoms. So atom is a fundamental particle, justified. Rohan, I hope you have understood a part of it. You could definitely do some more research, right? Look into Wikipedia and other resources which you have, and learn more about so many other technical terms like you will see, right? Okay. So we say hadrons and so many other things, and there are so many other trons to it which you can explore. But I hope that's my bit of it and it helps. And I'll encourage my viewers and subscribers to add on to the information and provide something which could be useful for our middle school students. Thanks for watching and all the best.